The Boston Red Sox just gave us a bunch of surprising updates that are going to have a lot of implications going forward, specifically on the catching position for the Boston Red Sox. We'll break down how Carlos Narvaez has simply showed up and shown out since Connor Wong's departure and how that has really earned him a spot going forward. We'll break down all of that on this episode of Red Sox Digest, but first, please do remember to subscribe to the channel, as nearly 90% of you guys currently watching this video are not currently subscribed to the channel. We do appreciate all the love and support, so thank you guys, but now let's get to it and break down how Carlos Narvaez has earned his respect, and it continues to earn all of this respect that he is now getting. Now, Carlos Narvaez was obviously the backup catcher behind Connor Wong, who went down with a fractured hand just a few weeks ago. Now, with doing so, Blake Sabol and Carlos Narvaez ended up splitting the amount of reps going forward. Carlos Narvaez simply has overperformed up to this point, not only defensively, but a little bit offensively. He's more of a timely hitter. He's not just flat out dominating up to this point, as his baseball savant page isn't the prettiest thing, specifically on the offensive side of things. But if you look at the defense, and again, you have to understand that he is yet to really get enough reps to be qualified amongst the entirety of the MLB and those everyday starters like Adley Rutschman and others in Cal Raleigh. But if you look at the blocks and as well as the framing, Carlos Narvaez is simply elite when it comes to those two defensive metrics. And the things when it comes to pop time as well as the caught stealing above average, give him a few more reps, give him another week or two behind the plate, and those numbers will quickly adjust for themselves, and he will be in the top percentiles of the entirety of the MLB without a shadow of a doubt. His ability to frame is substantially better than one in Connor Wong, who went into this past offseason working with Jason Varitek as well as others in the Red Sox organization, attempting to greatly improve his defensive metrics. As we know, Connor Wong last year was severely handicapped when it came to the defensive abilities and the inabilities that he maintained defensively, and really what kept him in as the starting catcher was the fact that he was batting a very quiet 290 plus in batting average wise offensively. If you look at Carlos Narvaez offensively, it's really not all that. The expected batting average, expected WOBA are way down, including the sweet spot in the sweet spots percentage, I should say, for Carlos Narvaez are way down. There are a few things that stand out. His barrel percentage is the only really offensive metric way above the league average. But again, the reason you're starting Carlos Narvaez specifically is the defensive metrics, the defensive abilities that he maintains. Now, Alex Cora went on to break down Carlos Narvaez and really what he has seen from him up to this point. And shout out to Christopher Smith on Twitter. Smitty on MLB is the tag. And he goes on to say, Alex Cora on the Red Sox catcher Carlos Narvaez, playing time once Connor Wong returns, saying, and I quote, he'll play. I'm not saying we'll split up the week, but he will play a lot, the end of the quote. And then again, another quote from Alex Cora. If you look at his numbers, he's been the best defensive catcher in the big leagues. Now, that is saying something, especially from someone as credible as your manager in Alex Cora, and someone who's been around the game of baseball for so long, and now taking a youngster in Carlos Narvaez and giving him the ability to go out there and play, not only because of the injuries to Connor Wong, but also having the faith in him, seeing what he did during spring ball, seeing that the Yankees obviously had him, and they were desperate in the sense of why they traded him, and resulted in giving away an absolute stud behind the plate. Yes, they did have Austin Wells as well as other credible catchers and young pieces to put there, but giving away someone only at 26 years of age with these great of defensive metrics and the potential we have seen at the plate offensively, man, Carlos Narvaez has really earned himself at least the second spot behind Connor Wong. And I honestly, at this point, would like to see Narvaez continue to play as the number one catcher in front of Connor Wong. Because, yes, Connor Wong is going to bring you the high average in the sense of offensive production. But to start the year before he fractured that hand, he was not great offensively. He was even worse defensively. We didn't see a drastic improvement from what we were hoping to see through this past offseason into this season, again, specifically speaking defensively for Connor Wong. Now, yes, was it still very early in the season before he got injured? Yes, I completely understand that, and we have to give him a chance to go out there and showcase his talent and really find a groove with this Boston Red Sox team. But again, I would love to see Carlos Narvaez continue to play as catcher for this Red Sox organization at a large clip. Now, Christopher Smith wasn't done inciting this quote here from Alex Cora. He went on to actually publish this article that if you click on the article, if you click on the picture, it takes you to the article, and it goes on to say, how will Red Sox Alex Cora split the time at catcher when Connor Wong returns? If you click on the photo, it takes you to the article where we're going to cite these quotes as it goes on to say. Again, quote, the framing, the blocking is great, Cora said. Calling the game, I think offensively, there's more. We've just got to be patient, and so far it's been outstanding. And again, that is a quote from Alex Cora speaking on Carlos Narvaez and really the defensive abilities that we've seen from him up to this point. Narvaez's weaknesses defensively is throwing, but is something that the Red Sox focused on during spring training. Catching instructor Parker Gwynn involved the Red Sox pitching department to help him with his mechanics. He's 3 of 15 in caught stealing so far. Quote, I think mechanically wise, there are a few things that Parker and Jason Varitek, have worked on with him. And he's taken a lot of pride behind the plate. End of quote, Cora said. Really all exactly what we want to hear. Yes, the guys he's attempting to throw out in 15 attempts, he's 3 of 15. Is that good? Is that even great? Not even close. And I'm not going to argue that he has, but give him more time. Allow him to find that groove. Allow him to find those mechanics that have worked those 3 out of 15 times, and allow him to copy and rinse and repeat and really get something going here. I will say I do have a clip for you guys of him throwing someone out yesterday at third base in the Cleveland Guardian game that they ended up winning, that we just highlighted in the Jarren Duran video. If you haven't checked that out, go back and check out the last video posted on this channel. But again, here's Carlos Narvaez. It wasn't a pitch out, but it was pretty damn close to a pitch out. That's why it wasn't as close. But also, running on Narvaez, going to third, it's just not a great equation, and it really didn't work out for them in this instance. And I wouldn't continue to attempt to run on Carlos Narvaez, specifically to third base. So here's Carlos Narvaez throwing out a runner at third base, and again, it wasn't even close.
He's going to run. Here's the throw down. The tag is waiting for him. He is out.
You'll see him kind of push his body up and try to sneak his hands left hand.
Again, I'm not going to say it was a pitch out, but it was pretty damn close. Brayan Bello really lost control of that sinker up and away. It worked perfectly for Narvaez, who was able to already be popped up by the time the ball hit his glove, and he delivered an absolute strike down to Alex Bregman at third base, getting, I believe it was Naylor, by 100 yards. The ball was sitting there waiting for him, and he was literally just waiting to tag him, see where it was going to be the first available body part to tag, and it resulted in being out at third base. This is really exciting stuff. Yes, again, we'll look at the Baseball Savant page one more time. The two things defensively that stand out amongst all the rest is the blocking, something that we noticed in the quotes from Alex Cora, acknowledging how good the blocking is from Narvaez, as well as the framing, something that Connor Wong, the starting catcher, severely struggled with last season and in the early stages of this season. The pop time, and again, the caught stealing above average, give him a few more games, give him a few more reps, and I believe these numbers at least are going to be about average, if not higher than that, because of really the abilities that we've seen up to this point. He's shown really, really good ability to go out there and be an impact on the defensive side for the Boston Red Sox at catcher. Now, to close out this video, I'm going to quickly highlight the inabilities at the plate. And there's 3 things that stand out amongst all the rest that I think if Carlos Narvaez can go out there and just slowly but surely make corrections in these 3 categories, which are really just one big category, Narvaez is going to be the #1 starting catcher for the Red Sox, and there's not even going to be a conversation about it. And that is the swing and miss rate that's going with the chase rate, the K percentage, and the overall whiff percentage. Those 3 things for Carlos Narvaez are below the league average by a substantial piece right now, and they're all going hand in hand. It's something that you see a correlation in, and it's resulting in Carlos Narvaez not getting on base as nearly as much as we were hoping for, up to this point at least. And it's just showing the inabilities and really not the immatureness, but just where he needs to continue to grow and become a professional ball player, just at another clip, if you will, at another level. And if you look, again, the chase, whiff, and K percentage all in the 30th percentile, 32 to 35 percentile for Carlos Narvaez, below league average by a substantial amount. And yes, there are other things like the expected batting average, the expected WOBA, the hard hit percentage, the square up rate, the bat speed. All of these things aren't great either. Yes, they are just around league average, if not just below them. But the K percentage, the whiff percentage, as well as the chase percentage are the three things that stand out to me all the most because they correlate to one another so easily. And if Carlos Narvaez can cut down on chasing pitches outside of the strike zone, there's a good chance that the whiff rate does go down, as well as the K percentage, resulting in better at bats for Carlos and possibly even a better on base percentage for Carlos Narvaez, who is hitting in the 8-hole, who has been a bit productive as of late specifically. But again, the overall numbers offensively are not going to get it done. Let me know down below what you guys think about this entire catcher conversation and really what you guys would like to see when Connor Wong does return and what you guys would like to see with Carlos Narvaez when Connor Wong does end up returning. Would you like to see Wong get the majority of the starts? Would you like to see Narvaez maintain a substantial piece in this defensive positioning for the Red Sox? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.